authors. Any content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is February the 11th, the year of our Lord, 2023. Time is flying, Jeremy, right?
Yeah.
And we're here in our studios. We're doing another show on a Saturday. We were very busy Friday. Jeremy, you want to say hello?
Hey, everybody. How you doing? It's good doing it on a Saturday.
Yeah,
you're not busy with the beach, so you can just get all these out in one day, you know?
Well, we used to do a lot on Saturdays. That was our show for like 2-3 years in WOBM. Jeremy, can you throw up the our contact information for everybody?
Yeah, sure.
You know, we're on, right now we're live on YouTube and Rumble and Facebook and Twitter.
If you want to get in touch or, you know, make an appointment with Dr. Kachmar, it's at the Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com. Check that out, man. You'll find out everything that he does. You can also contact us directly at Dr. Kachmar at iCloud.com. That's Dr. Kachmar, Kachmar at iCloud.com.
Right, and subscribe to us, please, and like, and we're also on Spotify.
Share.
We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you could grab us wherever you want to grab us at. So,
cool.
Well, Jeremy, well, thank you. We have a lot of things to talk about today. Now, I was watching the news real quick because we have, this is a medical political show, but we have to talk a little bit. I'm listening to these guys saying that that the United States military didn't have the capacity in the past to see these balloons and stuff, but now we do.
Now we do. Yeah.
I watch movies. I mean, you could have a drone operated by a 18-year-old kid in like Kansas City, right, and drop a bomb like on one guy's head in Iraq, but we don't know that these things are coming. How stupid do they think the American public is? Come on. You know, I don't know what's going on, but I could just tell you right now.
I mean, we're the people that went right after the evacuation of Afghanistan. Our president sent out a drone bomb, and it missed all the enemies, but it did hit a group of, helpers out there working, and 7 children died because of that.
But that's not.
But here's the thing.
So I don't know what you mean by that. But
well,
I mean,
we can send
are we
out,
incompetent? So we're incompetent.
Drones. Yeah, we're incompetent.
That's what I think the point there is we're incompetent. But you know what? We're incompetent, but we know what's going on. Yeah. But my point is that that's not even the point. The point is you have people on the news that sit there and lie out their teeth. They lie, they believe bullshit. And I to think that our government doesn't have the means to track anything anywhere around the world. We're the best country in the world. We have all kinds of technology. I don't understand. I guess there's a lot of people out there who just, I have to use the word stupid. Stupid. And I'm not talking about these people who are in the news. I'm talking about the people who listen to them. Yeah. I got friends. I mean, they're just dumb as days long. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So we want to talk about today. Let's go to the whiteboard. Can you get rid of that scrubbing up for me so we can see the board? So we have a couple things here. So Jeremy, did you know that Jesus is coming to the Super Bowl?
Get out of town.
I'm not kidding around.
Wow.
Jesus is coming to the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And that's what I was told. So let's go to my iPad, and we're going to check this out.
Is he bringing his posse?
No, but let's not the apostles. So if anybody, before we even start, if you want to know about Jesus, go to the New Testament, Matthew, John. And if you really want to know about Jesus, that's where you go. There's the information. What's in the Bible is what is the real.
Number one bestseller throughout history.
Right. So go to my iPad right now, Jeremy. Right. Okay. So here we go. Now, I'm not going to even get into, because the article here says the backstory to the Jesus ad coming to the Super Bowls. This was put out February 11, 2023 at 5:50 a.m. by, I think, this Slate. Now, I read the article, but you could go into why they're doing it, who they're doing it, what the politics is. Do you like the message that they're talking about? The one is called Refugee. It seems like a lot of people from South America is in this thing.
Is that a sneak peek to the commercial?
Yeah.
Can we play that?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess so. Well, I don't know. Are we allowed to? I don't know.
Yeah. That's a commercial.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
There was a mother and a father who had a son. They lived in a small village and didn't have much money, but they were happy. One day, they heard the head of their country was sending soldiers to their town because he thought they were part of an insurrection. The young family decided to flee. They grabbed only what they could carry and ran. They hiked for days, wondering if soldiers might still be following them. They were scared, hungry, and exhausted. But they were far away from the atrocities taking place in Bethlehem.
So
that's all Mary and Joseph wanted. A safe place to call home.
Right. He gets it. So let's and gets all of us. So Jesus, now stop. Just go back to me. I'm going to tell you what the political thing here is. Okay, just go. Okay. So here's the thing. I think that for me as a Christian, I love any message about Christ. Yeah. Okay. And the reality is, though, is what they're trying in this ad here. They're trying to, and obviously, it's not Christians in New Jersey or Christians in China that are being slaughtered left and right. It's not Christians in Yugoslavia or Stalin's Christians or Russian or Nazi Germany. These are Christians that are coming up from the border. And if you look at that, they're coming here because they're refugees. They're being persecuted, and they're trying to use the Jesus thing as maybe a metaphor. Well, but stop. But here's the thing: we have open borders. Everybody and their brother is coming into this country. Everybody all of a sudden now is a refugee. So what they're saying is that they're poor as crap down there. They're corrupt. But these are refugees, and they're just like Jesus Christ. They're coming here. You got to understand that what I read is a lot of these people who are being facilitated into the United States illegally. Now it could be legal, illegal. They're not. It's all a matter of how you say if they're a refugee or not. Is by these non-governmental agencies, okay, NGOs, and these NGOs are a lot of it's Christian. And they want these people here. You understand? Now, I'm not going to get into the bad or good. I'm going to just say this, that whether or not you like this commercial, to me, I like the idea it's Jesus. But I also don't like the idea they're using Jesus' name for a political end. Yeah. And we cannot have open. Here's the thing: there's a lot of people in this country who want to have open borders. Let everybody and their brother come in here, unvented. Just let them in. Right. That's not right. My grandfather came here as a legal immigrant. I have no problem about immigration. I want border security. Big difference. Right. We don't have border security. You have fentanyl that's overrunning this country. People are dying left and right from fentanyl. That's a direct response and reality of the open border policy. Yeah. Okay? And you're going to have tons of people coming here. Wait, stop. There's tons of people coming here who are sick, who have a very bad illness. And yet we could be magnanimous, but we can only handle so much. And what about our poor? What about our vets? What about our seniors? And the other thing what's going to happen is these people who are coming in here, who are good people, I'm not saying they're bad, they're going to flood the market for cheap labor. And the blue collar, blacks, Hispanics that are here already are going to get displaced. So my point is, there's two sides to the coin here. But I think that number one is I'm glad that they're going to talk about Jesus. But again, they're politicizing it, which is I would love to have just a commercial that says, "Hey, Jesus is the light, follow him." But you notice these people their agenda is to try to tell you that these people are. The government's coming after them. They're refugees, just like they were going to persecute, Christ. First of all, Christ's family, really, whether they're persecuted, I mean, it's the end. But I think it's why a lot of people are upset about this. So anyway, and who's behind it? But just remember, when the Nazi Germany's fell, and all those Nazis who friggin' slaughtered the Jews and the Christians and everybody else, a lot of them were brought to South America. By who? By the Red Cross and by the Catholic Church.
Right.
Go read Bill Riley's one of his books, Killing the SS.
Oh, the SS.
Killing in the SS. I mean, he talks about it in there, and he has a lot of references. And I've read this before. So, good intentioned people. I mean, there's no way that you're going to tell me that those Nazis were good people. Why did but they brought him here. So this is the same old thing. It's a very mucky thing. But all I could say is this: I celebrate at least Jesus is being brought into the maybe wrongly.
Can I give you my review?
Yeah.
So I just saw this commercial for the first time. Was that your first time watching it?
No, but I first time I realized
you went deeply into that, and I don't have all that right off the bat, but off the top. But as a marketing director, which I am, and I'm looking at this commercial and what it's trying to sell, right? I mean, leave Jesus out of it. He was just slapped on at the end. That was just a bookend to a commercial that was. It looked like it was trying to paint a different picture to the people that are coming into our country. America has an idea, or at least the right-wing people have an idea as to what these people are and all of that, and our borders are unsecure and all of that. But they were trying to paint a picture of one family in particular and the trials and tribulations that they went through in their country and the reasons why they made the choice to cross our border. And you know what? If I was still a Democrat, I'd have eaten that up. I'd have eaten that up with a bowl and give me a spoon and give me some more. I would have eaten that up like you wouldn't have believed. And like, what? Are you kidding? Like this is ridiculous. And this is look what these people are. And I've been arguing like they've been flooding into our country and they've been shopped off to every different state. At the end of the day, that Jesus thing that was tacked on, I think that was just an excuse to paint a different story to the American people about those that are crossing the border down south. That's what I think.
Right. So the bottom line is that you can't these people who are coming into this country, even if the government gives them a refugee status, they're still not American citizens. Yeah. They're residents. And you want to read a good book. It's called The Dying Citizen by Victor Davis Hanson. And if you want to understand the concept of being a citizen and a sovereignty, and if we lose that, we're done. You know what would have been interesting if they did it right, and they wouldn't have obviously. But if they had said in that story where they're telling you in stark detail how it was where they were, the very reasons why they had to flee. And their hope in the country. If they had added in that story how they went about it the right way to enter into our country. That's not in their agenda. I'll tell you what it is.
I know it's not in
I'll tell you why
agenda.
I'll tell you why they're fleeing. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you exactly why they're fleeing. Yeah. Because they don't have freedom of speech. Yeah. They don't have freedom of fear. They can't own guns. They don't have freedom of religion.
Wait,
There's corrupt government. There's no democracy.
They don't have freedom of speech and they're coming here?
Yeah, well, but it's better than what they got there.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're corrupt down there. It's But here's the other thing. The other thing is I'll modify that. Not everybody who lives down there is coming here. The wealthy are not. I mean, you have a lot of people who are poor. What the reality is, this is what this is. Okay, short and long of it. A lot of the people that are coming here, they have multiple reasons. All right, but a lot of them are coming for economic. Yeah. Economics. When they found gold in Klondike, whatever, up in Alaska and the border, right? Yukon, right? I mean, 100,000 people went there, to look for their fortune. People are coming here. There's a lot of people in Mexico and Brazil. They're loaded. They ain't coming up here. I got friends who live in those countries. The last thing they want to do, they're not going to immigrate here. It's the poor. And so are they really refugees? No. This government has an agenda, and there's people who want open borders for a lot of different reasons. Maybe cheap labor. I think that's a big part of it. Maybe they think they're going to vote for them. I like the idea that the people who are coming from South America, a lot of them are Christians, and I love that. Yeah. I love that more than anything.
That's what they were hoping to get out of it by tacking him on at a bookend. Right. It was like, but this is all about Jesus, and this is what we're talking about.
But how about we talk?
What you just said in rebuttal to what I was saying, that that's not their agenda. You
No,
said,
but
that just screams what a political thing this is, and not with any kind of aspirations for good.
And you want to, and what's the problem down there? Why they want to get out of the poor? Because that society is that way. It's and it's bad. It's always going to be poor. I think though that we're hopefully that we're going to have a debate on immigration, and we have legal abortion. Legal immigration with secure borders. Because when you have this open border thing, you're getting too many criminals coming in here, too much drugs, and it's out of control.
But then you retell this story with some control at the border and stuff, then nobody has a problem with this commercial.
No, what they're going to do though,
play it again.
What you see, what they're going to do right now, everybody who's in Mexico right now, they're going to identify them as refugees. That's what this Super Bowl commercial is doing. Basically, all these people down there, it makes you feel bad now because it's not the government's coming in, they're refugees and Christ, and you're going to fall. They're going to tug at your heartstrings as a Christian and say, listen, this is what we need to do. And looking at that commercial, I don't buy it. I like, again, the idea that we're talking about Jesus. We're all about Jesus, and that might turn off a lot of people too. Yeah. They may, a lot of people who I have friends who are atheists. They're like, they think I'm crazy about Jesus. They may say, let's not let those people in here because they're religious fanatics. It might backfire in them. But you ever think about that? You didn't think about that?
No. Yeah, but if they followed that up with a commercial that's more centered on Jesus, okay. Right. Because that one was not.
No, they're not going to
at
follow.
all.
Okay.
He was an afterthought.
No. So let's go to the whiteboard. So the next one here, I got to talk about this one. Let me see. I got this Bill Maher. I have Bill Maher. Like some people like him. I have zero respect for this guy.
Is he on there? Where is that?
No, I'm going to put him up. Hang on a second. But he talked. I want to bring this point about it. So this was a video I watched about him. It says, "Rule a woke revolution." So this is and this he cites Mao Zedong, and I want to just go to the video here. I'm going to show you something here. So this is his thing, and we're going to play this little ad here.
And finally, new rule: if you're part of today's woke revolution, you need to study the part of revolutions where they spin out of control because the revolutionaries get so drunk on their own purifying elixir, they imagine they can reinvent the very nature of human beings.
Huh. He's so full of shit because, in past years, he was all against
the
this.
Opposite.
The opposite. But listen.
Selfishness could be cast out of human nature. Russian revolutionaries spoke of the new Soviet man who wasn't motivated by self-interest, but instead wanted to be part of a collective. No, it turns out he wanted to be on a yacht in a Gucci tracksuit holding a vodka and a prostitute. Not standing in line all day for a potato.
I don't even think he's that funny,
actually. The problem with communism and with some very recent ideologies here at home is that they think you can change reality by screaming at it, that you can bend human nature by holding your breath. But that's the difference between reality and your mommy. Lincoln once said that you can repeal all past history, but you still cannot repeal human nature. But he's canceled now, so fuck him.
I don't like people who use foul language.
Yeah, but that's not funny, though. It's not something to be laughing at.
Like, just get through it. Listen,
Are there any similarities between today's woke revolution and Chairman Mao's cultural revolution of the 1960s?
Here's why I want you to listen.
Back, how long do you have? Because, again, in China, we saw how a revolutionary thought he could do a page-one rewrite of humans. Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds.
I'll tell you what those four olds are.
Culture, old customs, and old habits. So your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being. A lot of pointing and shaming went on. Oh, and about 1 million dead.
1 million
dead. The only way to survive was to plead insanity for the crime of being insufficiently radical, then apologize and thank the state for the chance to see what a piece of shit you are. And of course, submit to re-education, or as we call it here in America, freshman orientation.
All right, get rid of him. I can't stomach him. He makes me sick. He's actually revolting, you know. Anyway, so let me make a couple points, okay? Let me get rid of him. Hang on. Shut me. Okay. So let me. First of all, there's a couple things about what he said, okay? And I don't want to get into him and make it all about him.
I have nothing to say about that.
Nothing. But I wanted to make it the point. He said 1 million people died. Okay, follow this now. Again, we talk about about this stuff. So he said 1 million people died, right? Let's really talk about what happened there, because this is communism, and this is what's going on in this country. Let me go back here. You look at here, Mao Zedong, mass murderer. Now, what they did, and when they talk about the 4 4s, this is in the 50s and 60s. Let me make this clear to you. 50s and 60s. It wasn't that long ago. This wasn't the 20s and 30s. Right. Okay? Now, let's go to my iPad. Now, this is something that's very important, Jeremy. Now, this was 2010, so this was a long time ago, this article, but you could go into I just picked one of many. I studied this in my school. Yeah. You could go in, there's tons of articles, there's research that you could do, go Google it, but you could really look at the legacy of it's called Mao Zedong, mass murderer. Now, this is by Lee Edwards, PhD, and he's written and authored 25 books. You think he knows what he's talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you name the greatest this is what he says. Can you name the greatest mass murderer of the 20th century? No, it wasn't Hitler or Stalin. It was Mao Zedong. Remember now, the new Mao Zedong is Xi Jinping, who's running a communist government in China, who's going to be probably we're going to probably, if we don't go to war with them, I'd be surprised. Yeah. And they want to take over the world. Now, let me just keep going here. According to authoritarian Black Book of Communism, an estimated 65 million, not 1 million, Bill Maher, 65 million Chinese died as a result of Mao's repeated, merciless attempts to create a new socialist China. Anyone who got in his way was done away with by execution, imprisonment, forced famine. Let me repeat that, Jeremy. An estimated 65 million Chinese died as a result of Mao's repeated, merciless attempt to create socialist China. Now, let's go back here. For Mao, the number one enemy was the intellectual. Number one enemy was intellectual. The so-called great helmsman revealed in his bloodletting boasting, what's so unusual about Emperor Shi Shang of the Chinese dynasty, he had buried alive 460 scholars. Basically, that wasn't enough. So the revolution was from 66 to 76, transformed China into a great house of fear. 1966 to 76. This is, we don't, did you learn this in school?
But he says, but we have buried alive 46,000 scholars.
No, that was back then. He's talking about, he's making the point. They just didn't go far enough.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's saying like he had buried that many, but we have done this.
Right.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, I get the sniffles here.
That's all right.
So here, death from hunger reached more than 50% in Chinese villages. I'm just trying to read here. So here's the interesting thing. Listen to this. Only 5 years later, when he sensed that revolution fever in China was waning, Mao proclaimed the Cultural Revolution. Gangs of Red Guards, young men and women between 14 and 21, roamed the cities, targeting revisionists and other enemies of the state, and especially teachers. Professors were dressed in grotesque clothes and dunce caps, their faces smeared with ink. They were forced to get down on their fours and bark like dogs. Some were beaten to death, some were even eaten. Jeez. All for the propagation of Maoism. A reluctant Mao finally called in the Red Army to put down the marauding Red Guards when they were attacking Communist Party members, but not before 1 million Chinese died. That's what he's talking about, 1 million. So before that, about 60 million died, of famine and the army themselves. Then you had another group of people, the Red Guards, who were zealous, who actually joined in and killed about 1 million more. Okay, see how they bullshit? Yeah. And in the meantime, Mao kept expanding what they would call gulag, a system of 1,000 forced labor camps throughout China. Okay? On and on and on.
20 million died as a result. Where was that? 20 million died as a result of the primitive living conditions and 14-hour workdays.
He estimated that from the 50s through the 1980s, 50 million Chinese passed through the Chinese version of the Soviet gulag. 20 million died as a result of primitive living conditions and 14-hour workdays. My point is,
political power grows out of a barrel of a gun, and that was
Yes.
Al Capone's philosophy.
well, this was what Mao said. Such calculated cruelty exemplifies his Al Capone philosophy. Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. You want to give up your guns in this country? Just remember that. Just remember that. I just read this. I was watching this YouTube video and we were talking about how AR-15s are not. There's nothing like that. They're not really assault weapons. Even the United States government has bigger guns and armor that you couldn't even go through it. But I always remember this, Jeremy. Geronimo. Right, Geronimo was an Indian, a warrior, and after the Civil War, right, you had the United States government went after Geronimo to take care of the engine problem, the Indian, and you know what? They couldn't get him. The only way he was held up in those mountains, and the only way they got him, you know how they got him? He gave up. They gave him a sweetheart deal. My point is that. Thank God for this country. But when he talked about talk about the 4 4s, we talk about this, and is the what China you don't have in China is let's go back to me because I want go look at how terrible this was in China right now today. There's no freedom of speech. You understand that? No freedom of speech. There's no freedom of religion. You can't practice religion until you're 18, and it has to be a governmental approved religion, and they monitor it. Number 2. No guns, no freedom from fear. You have they'll shut you right down. The only thing that you do have, the 4th thing, again, is you somewhat you don't have freedom. You do have freedom from fear of hunger, of want. Okay, so basically, you get a bowl of slop, you get some place to live. It's institutionalized slavery. That's what it is. And that, and I tell you what, a lot of people in this country want that. Listen, if I was the elite in this country, the big time, and anywhere in the world, what's better? You get rid of religion, get rid of free speech, right? You got to get rid of the guns, and then you control everything. I'm all get rid of guns, but get rid of the cops. The cops shouldn't have guns. The federal government shouldn't have guns. If we all have no guns, but that ain't going to happen. No. So my point is that this is not that long ago. Jeremy, this is 60s and 50s and 60s. Millions. Now, Bill Maher says 1 million. Well, Bill Maher, I'm sorry. And it wasn't just, they gutted that scenario. And this wasn't the first time either. You had Hitler killed 6 million, 8 million Jews. And they took all their rights away from him. What about Cambodia? The killing fields. Stalin, we don't even talk about how many people Stalin killed, 20 million. He killed the kulaks. My point they're getting at, Jeremy, is that this thing about Bill Maher and all of this is where we're going. If China takes over the world, this is what you're going to have here.
Right.
And I can tell you, we have World War III. It ain't going to be 1 million. It's going to be hundreds of million people die, if not billions. Yeah. And I tell you, we're knocking on the door right now in Russia. So anyway, I don't want to get down. So let's go. I just wanted to throw that out. Bill Maher, I think you're very wrong. Get rid of scrubbing up. Let's get to medicine now, okay? Are you okay? Did I get you upset?
Yeah, I'm devastated.
I mean, you could just see yourself with the dunce hat. I could see you right now. You with the dunce hat, and making you. I want to make you walk like a dog. I can tell you right now. If we go into World War III and they try to invade this country, I tell you what, there's going to be millions of Americans that are not going to get on their knees. I can tell you that right now. No, it'll be millions and millions and millions. But that's what, and they're not, remember from history, forced famine. What happened in Nazi Germany? The Jews gave up their guns. They believed that that Germany would have been okay. You read the book of Ship of Fools. And then watch the movie. There's actually Jews in there. They know they were getting their balls busted, but they're sitting there going, I'm a German Jew. My father was a German. My grandfather was a German. I'm going back to Germany. What are they going to do? Kill all of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody ever thought in a million years that could happen. I don't even think that a lot of the Germans, in the Nazi Party, even thought that was a viable way. But it built. You had euthanasia, so you start killing old people. Then you start killing people who are sick. Then you start getting rid of the infirm. Then the next thing is you get rid of your, the gays and the transsexuals. And then what next? Then you get rid of your, your political, the Jews. The Jews were very wealthy part of that community. Yeah. So it was a slippery slope. But my point is that, you don't. It happens gradually, and you don't want to give up your rights. But Bill Maher, now all of a sudden, Bill Maher is all about it. But where was he when Trump could have stopped all of this? Yeah. He was one of the ones who assassinated. But basically, keyed down and criticized the way our country was going. Bill Maher and a lot of people on the left, they voted for Biden. Biden's here now. And Biden, I think, is opening up the door, to potentially World War III, socialism, our First Amendment, Second Amendment rights. I mean, so you tell me, that's why I get a little bit funny. But here's the thing. Don't forget, Mao Zedong, mass murder. Pretty bad, Jeremy. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about some medicine. We're going to try to get out of this show. I know you want to get going home. So I'm a doctor. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. And if you go to the whiteboard, Jeremy, get rid of that scrubbing up thing so we can see it. Yeah. So this is something that, don't go. I didn't tell you to go yet. Yeah, just wait. So basically what's happening here, if you look at the whiteboard, this is something that we're seeing now, syphilis. And I know it sounds crazy and, what's syphilis? Well, syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease, and it's on the uptake. I mean, it's getting bad.
Well, right now?
Right today. Syphilis. Right here. Look at this. Mississippi hit by a 900% increase in newborns treated for syphilis.
Newborns?
Yeah. I'll explain what's going on. Let me just pull this thing up here. So this is an article that just came out just recently. So this is, so let's go to the board now for me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This was just an article a few days ago. So this is Mississippi hit by 900% increase in newborns treated for syphilis. This seems like something that should have happened 100 years ago, not last year, the state's former health officer said. What happens is basically, now this is an article, February 11th, 2023, by, was it Barcy Harris? Jackson, Mississippi. The number of babies in Mississippi being treated for congenital syphilis has jumped by more than 900 over 5 years. Now, congenital syphilis is this, Jeremy. Mother has syphilis. She may not know she has it. She may know she has it. She has a baby. While she's delivering the baby gets infected with syphilis. And a lot of it affects the eyes. You get blindness. So you have to put medicine in the eyes. It'll be basically, a lot of babies years ago used to become blind. That's what was one of the biggest reasons for people being blind was they were born by a mother who had syphilis. And a lot of times what happens is you get syphilis, and if you don't see the first signs, it goes in your body and it becomes kind of like, like chronic infection. You don't even know. So let's read here. Uprooting the progress the nation poor state had made in nearly quashing what experts say is an unavoidable health crisis. The rise in cases has placed newborns at further risk of life-threatening harm in the states already home to the nation's worst infant mortality. Mississippi's a train wreck. In 2021, 102 newborns in Mississippi were treated for the sexually transmitted disease, up from 10 in 2016. And I just want to go here. Mississippi Department of Health. I'm just, syphilis deaths. And here, congenital syphilis occurs when the infection is passed from the mother to the child while she's pregnant. If untreated, a pregnant woman with syphilis has 80% chance of passing it to her baby. That's high. 80%, Jeremy. Yeah. Okay? And here it goes here. It may not show up for symptoms, but those who are not treated within 3 months of birth, complications can be serious. Syphilis can damage the baby's organs. I'm surprised you didn't talk about the eyes, but a lot of them have eye issue here. Because I remember that in my day, back in New Jersey, back when I was a doctor starting out, you couldn't get you could not get married without a syphilis test. You had to have a negative syphilis test to get married. And they used to come to my office, and we would write a script for syphilis, and then we would get the negative report. They stopped that for a while, and I still test for syphilis when people have symptoms of neuropathy and stuff like that. So here it goes on and on and on and on. So this is a sexually transmitted disease that people have it and they don't know. They're passing it on. And that's just crazy. Here, report in the mid 2000s, there were years where only one or no congenital syphilis cases reported in Mississippi. So what's going on, Jeremy? Why?
I don't get it.
Why? What's going on? What's happening? Is it immigration? Illegal immigration? Is it drug overdose of his drug, using so much drugs? Is it a lack of God and morals?
Possibly.
I mean, it can't be contraceptive because there's plenty of you could buy condoms all over the place.
Yeah, you're tripping over them.
But you don't need that. You get the birth control, or you don't even need that. You get pregnant, you get an abortion.
Or the day after pill, right?
So here it is right here.
But we have all those things.
A Delta Health Center where patients are seen regardless of their insurance status or ability to pay, test pregnant patients for syphilis during their initial prenatal visit in their third semester, and again when they show up in local hospital. Mississippi doesn't require such screenings, but foregoing them comes with an acute risk. Somebody's got to pay for it. That's the problem. And maybe these people don't go for the test. Maybe they just, it may not be the state. It may be the people just don't want to deal with it. Yeah. So, and syphilis could cause all kinds of problems. Get rid of this for me. Get out of here. So my point being is that, we have this issue here go to the board here. So what's going on? Is this drugs? Is it, lack of education? But it's coming back. And this is nothing new. I did a show not too long ago on syphilis. It's across the board. A lot of people are getting it now. A lot of the pediatricians are dealing with it.
Wow.
And because, it's promiscuity. I mean, people are having sex all the time. We have to, you can't let the society go. You can't just let things fly. This is what happens. There's no free lunch. Right now in New Jersey, we keep on saying it. In New Jersey, if you are under 18, you can get an abortion without parents' consent. You could sign your own consent. There's no waiting time. There's no limit of how pregnant you are. Yeah. And you'll get it done. And the state of New Jersey will pay for it, NJ Health. So what? So why not? So what?
Drive-throughs coming soon.
So, where's the incentive? It's just like, these kids smoking pot. They could smoke it until there's no tickets, there's no nothing. So kumbaya. So I just don't think it's a good thing. Anyway, what do you think? You just have no comment. You don't think it's
this. Yeah.
You're checked out. You can't deal with it anymore. I'm hitting you up too much. Yeah. I'm gonna give you one more.
You gotta give me something saucy. All right.
Well, in regard to that, I want to make this point here because this is something about medicine. We're talking about medicine. Then we'll finish up with case of the week, and that's it. Now, don't put me up yet, but here is another example of this. People create a problem, and then they solve it. The Atlantic, which to me is a is a periodical that's so friggin' to the left, right? They bashed Trump, they bashed the anti-democracy, all this shit, right? Now they're coming out just like Bill Maher. All of a sudden now they're getting scared because they went too far. Right. There's no consistency. So now put this article. This is the Atlantic. I love this. This is the article here. America has gone too far in legalizing vice. Our hearts and minds are shaped not only by reason, but also by our habits, which are just as often inexplicably self-destructive as they are reasonable. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Poetic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nice.
So does that mean that, all the stuff that Trump said was accurate? The cause, it goes on here, about betting and on and on and on. But I want to make, if you go down here, it really starts, it's kind of in a buried lead down here where it says addiction by design. And they start with the gambling, but here's what I'm more concerned, because gambling, you could lose a lot of money, but you're not going to die most likely from gambling unless you owe some, what do they call it, loan shark money, and he breaks your legs.
Yeah.
But listen to this one here. Marijuana has a more complicated legacy, especially because it is real. It is real in parentheses, but rather modest benefits for medical use, which is pretty interesting. However, careful analysis shows that marijuana legalization has contributed to a rise in opioid-related deaths. This is the Atlantic now. Let me just step back, guys. Just listen this is the Atlantic, who Trump's no good, and they're all about open borders and legalize abortion and legalize marijuana and pushing it. Now, they didn't know this, just like the guy on TV today didn't know, we don't know there's balloons. Now we know about it, but 2 weeks ago, we didn't have the technology to see a balloon coming from China. Come on, please. Yeah. Please. Do I look that stupid? Sell me some, hey, I got, you want to buy some of the Bayonne Bridge? You can own part of it. Yeah.
Real estate.
Yeah, real estate, man. How about a slice of the moon? Well, that's a good...
There's no billboards up there yet. I could be the first.
All right, so let's go here. This is from the Atlantic. The Atlantic, okay, which is the Elite's magazine. This is all of those yippies and what do you call them? Up in New York City with the lattes.
Yuppies,
late 20. Between 25 and 35.
Yuppies.
Never got their hands dirty. They'll go on vacation to Jamaica, wherever, and buy pot. From the guys walking up and down the street, and cocaine, and they don't, and making the problem worse, because then you open up the illegal. Anyway. So this is them. This is their magazine. However, careful analysis shows that marijuana legalization has contributed to a rise in opioid-related deaths. Oh my God! I've known that for 20 years.
Right.
Especially when dispensaries can legally sell all sorts of cannabis products and all sorts of levels, 20, 30%. THC as opposed to 1% years ago. Permitting dispensaries also increase referrals for addiction treatment, which is unsurpassing consideration. Okay, here. Marijuana. Best evidence we have suggests that marijuana is harmful to teenage brains as they develop, and that more teenagers use marijuana when it is legalized in their state. Whoa. New Jersey legalized marijuana 2 years ago, and they had to be 21. But the governor of the state, who, again, is a liberal Democrat, and the legislation, right, says, but if you're under 21, you could smoke it anywhere you want. It's not illegal. It's not criminal. It's not delinquent. And the cops can't tell your parents. But you could only get as a warning. Now, if you're under 13, I think they got to send you to some drug rehab. So when they passed this law, only a year ago, 2 years ago, they didn't know any of this. Let's just say that they did know this. Why then did they pass it? That's all I'm asking. I'm just asking. So what they're going to say, I guarantee what they're going to say. Just like the guy said, well, we didn't know about the balloons. We didn't know having technology. We didn't notice. We didn't know. We didn't notice.
Balloons is our only weakness.
How
did they know?
Go to the CDC. Go look 5, 6 years, 10 years. It's been in the CDC. Paper's been put out that this causes brain injury, and it's a gateway drug. Okay. The industries that profit off addiction want to frame the question of access around reasonable use. So, and occasionally suggest that people might have genetic predisposition. Reasonable use, we know why they're getting the problem, Jeremy? It was because they went after the opioid people. They went after the cigarette people. Now, how are they go after those people and not go after the marijuana, which they legalized, which they, there's people in the government, who are giving these contracts out, and people are making tons of money. Anyway, hang on a second. What are you doing? Anyway. So I just want to go here. And so here, domestic violence and alcohol-related illness were at a record highs prior to the passage of the 18th Amendment. The prohibition was effective at reducing both. So anyway, I'm not saying we should have the 18th Amendment, but that wasn't a good one either. You could go back to me, Jeremy. Yeah. So my point being is here we go again. Now we have a pendulum swing. We have in this country where we go up one way and down the other. But the same people who criticized all of this, like, when we were talking about Trump, I had my friends voting for Biden, right? And I said, listen, I don't care about the politics per se. As long as you don't mess around with the Constitution, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, they're definitely pushing the envelope. But as long as they don't, pack the court, get rid of filibuster or change the, put amendments, they didn't do that, and they're not going to. But what I'm worried about is bringing us to World War III. Yeah. But having said that, we're fighting on a different level here. We're talking about why you have to start asking questions. Why is there 130,000, 120,000 drug overdoses in the United States? A lot of it's fentanyl poisoning.
Well, I was just when you were talking about the 13-year-old boys and stuff like that can smoke everything.
Yeah.
I Googled what a picture of a 13-year-old boy looks like. I think people need to do that too. It really opens your eyes to how extremely young they are when you see them. And these are the people that are, they're doing the drugs, they're impregnating your 13-year-old daughter. You don't know.
Jeremy, if you're 16 years old in New Jersey, boy or girl, you could have sex with anybody, consensual sex with a 50, 60-year-old. I mean, he could be talking, or she could be. You could be a boy. You could have another boy or girl, a guy or a girl, whatever, a predator. It could be 50, 60, and you could meet him at a parking lot and have sex with him. It's not against the law in New Jersey. The way I read it, it's age of consent is 16. They want to bring it down to 13. Yeah, you could have an abortion under 18 without parents' consent. You could maybe even puberty blockers. Who knows? I think
pedophiles are out there like high-fiving each other.
Pedophiles are not even they're not even, they're under the radar right now because they have their own rights. We got to accommodate the pedophiles. I mean, nobody's even talking about the poor pedophiles. Like they got out of jail cards.
I gotta tell you, that was something that was swept under the fucking rug, man. Like all of a sudden, pedophiles are victims.
Well, I think
where are we?
I think with the pedophile thing, at that Epstein whole thing, kind of like, because there was a lot of famous people, having sex with 14-year-old girls, and so
a lot of them are movie stars.
Yeah, so I think but if you go look at the history. Back in the day, I mean, 14-year-old, as soon as a girl was able to have her period and have a baby, they had baby and they got married. But you look at the Middle East. I remember when I was training where there was these guys from Saudi Arabia. I forget what country. It was the Middle East, and they were coming They were coming to the United States specifically for young girls. They liked the young girls, So my
look at Jerry Lee Lewis. Didn't he hook up with his 14-year-old cousin?
Yeah. But the point is, here's the thing. Let's just stay focused on all of this. Is that?
Oh, I thought it was.
No, yeah. Is that here now? You have the left, the Atlantic, and with the elite. All of a sudden now, pot's bad. Why? Because you shoved it down their throats. We told you. Here's what I'm not going to give them. I'm not going to say forgive them. I'm Christian. But you can't. We're not going to give you, I'm not going to believe anything that you say in the future, and I'm not going to, if I could, vote you people out, I'm not going to give you the benefit of doubt of being righteous. You can't shove all this down our throats, make all of these crazy rules and regs, all these people who are dying of overdoses, these children who are all screwed up, maybe because they're smoking this heavy-duty pot, that they're, getting syphilis, or they're getting pregnant, or they're committing, suicide. It all comes together. It all adds up. And problem is, Jeremy, most people don't have the mental capacity to understand the bigger picture and put everything together. And that's what we try to do here. All right. And it's hard. So anyway, I just thought I just love it. Now, Bill Maher, you listen to the President of the United States at his union. Yeah. He sounded like Trump light. He sounded like Trump light.
He was taking.
I thought
a
he was
lot
listening
of
to
Trump's
Trump.
achievements.
No, he was
his own.
He was like, but that doesn't matter. That's good. But I mean, but he's even talking about in the future what he wants to do. Like, we got to get rid of fentanyl. Well, dude, I mean, I love it. Trump was talking about
man.
Yeah, but
you're creating the problems, and then you want accolades for when you solve them.
But you see what's happening now? They went after Trump and his policies and the conservative. And now that the shit's hitting the fan, they're starting to get scared. Now that we're knocking at the door of World War III, now that you have so many deaths, you have so much stuff, now they're like, whoa, maybe we went too far. And I think that's what you're seeing, which is a good thing. Because maybe now, we could get back to some normalcy. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that, you know what? this is why you have to have free speech. You can't throttle us down when we talk about, medication and treatments. You can't throttle us down with, the Second Amendment and our rights to protect ourselves. You can't throttle us down with religion and shut down churches and say that people who are Christians are crazy. It all adds up to a point where.
But they did.
Right. But the thing is, then, and then when it's too late, when you have a Mao Zedong government where they're killing people, or you have Hitler, or you have, what do you call it, a communist society. I don't think we'll get to that point in this country. But I tell you what, one thing about the United States, we've never really, other than the Civil War, we had the War of 1812, and the Civil War was on our soil. But World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, was out of our country. So we really never had the devastation that Europe did. Yeah. I mean, in Germany and Russia, 10, 20 million people. Tell you what, remember what I'm this last thing, and then we're gonna talk about a couple of things. Einstein said this. Einstein said, I don't know how World War III is going to be fought, but World War IV is going to be fought with sticks and stones. And you can unravel that and really look at that, but I believe that. And so hopefully we won't see World War III.
We'll be cavemen, right?
Well, there's not going to be anything left. All right, so now let's go to the next.
And based on what you were saying earlier, nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to go face to face with a Mao Zedong.
No, the Mao Zedong, yeah. You know what it is? You know what it is, Jeremy? But you got to remember, he wouldn't have done that. He couldn't have, he did a couple things. What I think is really interesting, he framed that, phrase, powers at the end of a barrel of a gun, But he also, the four fours, that was a speech that Franklin Delano Roosevelt gave right after we declared war, when Germany declared war on us. We didn't declare, but we declared war on China, Japan. And he said, listen, the four freedoms that we have in this country that we want to protect. And I keep on saying it. And this is not what the Chinese government want. This is not what Russia wants. And it's freedom of speech. You cannot let that go. And you cannot say, it's hate speech. No, bullshit. If you're slandered, that's one thing. You give that up, you're going towards Mao Zedong and Nazi Germany. The second one, you cannot give up your freedom of religion. Once you do that, that's another one. You're going down that road of perdition. You're going where you're losing. The second one is freedom from fear. This is what Roosevelt told. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom from fear. Freedom from fear? I shouldn't have to fear the government. I shouldn't have to fear other people. Now, one way, to do that is Second Amendment. Let people let them carry arms or protect themselves, and also have a non-corrupt government. If there's a crime, put the people away. You have to have justice, because without justice, what's going to happen? You're going to have anarchy, and we don't want anarchy. What's the fourth one? Freedom from want. Jeremy, freedom from want. Okay? And those are the things that we want. Anyway, let's just go. I got to talk another one here. This is another one. This is great because I love this. This is, again, another, this is our stupidity biting us in the ass. So right now in Washington, D.C., man who helped pass crime code overhaul, shot and killed. So right now, the crime in D.C. is supposedly out of control. Why? Because they passed all these laws. No bail, no criminal charges, and they got people going around, So this guy here who had a lot to do with this, I really feel bad for him, was shot and killed. So he was pushing for all of these getting out quicker. He seemed like a really nice guy. I feel bad for him. Yeah. And but let me just get out of here. Go to me back. I'll show you the other thing. What's going on there? And so our again, we went overboard. We went crazy. We've done things that are so dumb. And let me just show you here. This was so what's happening in Washington, D.C. I guess I don't have it. Oh, here it is. So what's happening in Washington, D.C. is if you go down there, if you wear certain coats, there's, these kids are walking around and they're all over the place. They go up to you with a gun and they say, give me your coat. You don't have to, do that. And so it's pretty bad. I think it's crazy right now, and I think that our laws that we pass. This is another thing. Defund the police. I wonder. I was thinking about that. Defund the police. If you defund the police and get rid of all the police, who's going to police? Federal government's going to come in.
That's the whole point.
Well,
That's the whole point. It is. I firmly
what do you
believe
think?
that.
What do you think? Tell me.
A lot of things. They take away God. They take away police. They take away all of this stuff. Your freedom of speech. Now it's called hate speech if you try to say anything. I mean, that's really clever, isn't it? It's all of these little chess pieces that were moved over the last 2 years. Okay, and where is it leading to?
Right.
That's what we're talking about now.
Right. Well, listen. I'll show you one.
Hate speech. Calling it that is so clever.
I know. Well,
like if I was like an evildoer, like Dick Dastardly or something, creating the word hate speech to battle free speech, what a genius stroke that is.
Well, Hitler's Goebbels, they really they mastered propaganda, and people, we do that. It's been around for a long time. Intelligence, counterintelligence, nothing new. And I think that this is probably, it's always been some level of propaganda to the American public. The American public really didn't give a shit or kind of stupid. But I think what happened is, one of the things about the internet, I think that really made a difference now, is that people realize how much bullshit there's out there. And I think Donald Trump had a lot to do with that. Showed what did he call fake news?
Fake news.
So there's sensationalism, and there's what do they call it? White lies. There's you try to manipulate things. You could say half truths. You go on and on. There's all kind of metaphors.
We dress it up so we can sleep at night.
Right.
Yeah,
and also, like now, what this Super Bowl ad? What's their agenda? They want to bring people into this country. That's their agenda. Yeah. They want to bring people from South America into this country. Now, why? I don't know.
And you'll find Jesus there.
Right. But, do they want to, help them because they're Christian? They want more Christians in this country? Do they want to have more votes? They think they're going to vote Democratic? Do they want cheap labor?
You said it yourself. It's an agenda.
Right.
That's
the thing is, it doesn't really matter to me right now. The thing, it's stupid. Again, just like, putting the windmills, they're talking about windmills now in New Jersey off the coast, and there's whales dying. Whether or not the whales are being killed from that, doesn't matter. Who in their right mind could think that a windmill out in 100 foot of water is going to be a good idea with waves crashing on it, and if you got to maintain it, you got to take a boat out there. It's stupid. If you want to get
not to mention the vibrations that ripple down into the ocean, scaring away fish.
Doesn't matter.
No. It does matter.
Why?
For hundreds and hundreds of miles, and then these fishing villages that are offshore, or that are on the shore, they all closing up.
Right, Jeremy.
Business is shutting down.
Right. You know what, Jeremy? Right. But let's just say we don't give a shit about the whales, the fish, the birds, all of that. It's just stupid.
Stupid.
You could put them on land. Put them on land. Why go out 50 miles, 20 miles with a boat? You ever go out there in the ocean on a rough day with a boat? Yeah. You can't. It's not. Or you can take a helicopter.
We need guys from Jersey dealing with this. It's stupid.
It's stupid. I mean,
pack it up. What are you doing over there? Jesus.
I mean, it's the dumbest thing. It's if you really want to if you want to get rid of climate, fossil fuels, open up nuclear power plants. Open them up all over the place. But here's the thing, how come China's not doing that? Because they don't give a shit. You know what? Because it's cheap for them to burn coal. Why build a big friggin' plant? They got to get uranium and all that. Burn coal. They have 20% increase more coal production and coal usage in China. You think they're gonna? Not do that? And India. Listen, we're fucking. Excuse my language. Yeah. We're dumb. I tell you what. If we don't wise up in this country, we're gonna have that boot on our neck. We're gonna have the dumps cat. We got the dumps cat. Right.
Yeah.
That's gonna be us. Somebody's gonna be with a gun on your.
We got to get one for in here.
Somebody's we're gonna get a dumps hat, and they're gonna make you run around with bark like a dog, and then maybe they'll shoot you real quick instead of torching you.
Right.
And this is where we're going. And there's people in this world who want to do that to you. And if you don't think that's the case, and watch what happens, with Russia. Russia, these people they don't play around, man. They don't play, So my point is that we have to get our act together. So let's do the last thing, Jeremy. We have a case of the week, And I want to show you this. So this is a kid who came in the other day, and this is something we see. Can you put the here? So this is called Raynaud's phenomenon. Hang on, let me get it bigger here.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is, see the discoloration in the toe right there?
Right here.
Yeah, let me go this way here. Let me see if I get a better picture.
Not the
here.
big toe, but the one next to
Yeah,
it.
let me get you another one here. Hang on. Where's it going here? Here it is. This is a good one here. You can see it here.
Oh.
So see, it looks like an infection, but it's really not. What that is called Raynaud's phenomenon. And what happens there?
A type of bruising?
No, yeah, it looks like bruising. But it's like these spots. What it is actually he's having from the cold, and the vessels are shutting down. And we see it not all the time, but enough of it. And it's pretty interesting. It's called Raynaud's phenomenon. We used to see something like this with COVID toe also, or they call it frostbite or chilblains. There's a lot of different names for it. But it's pretty interesting, I think. And so anyway, if you see this, this is what you got. And I just thought it was a case of the week. It was an interesting one. You can see here how it looks. See how it's just, it looks like it's not an infection. There's
now, would it normally be this wide over here? Or
oh, yeah, it could be the whole foot. It could be areas. Now, there's other things that could look like this. There's dermatitis things. There's fungal infections. There's a thing called pemphigus.
What is that causing the patient now?
Pain.
It is painful.
Yeah. So the vessels are closed down. There's a problem. There's a natural response called the Huntington's response. I don't want to get into it right now, but people could read about it. And so it's a normal way your body corrals the heat to your core. And some people get this where it shuts down the blood supply.
Yeah, that's
all right.
fascinating.
Yeah. All right, Jeremy. So let's
buddy.
get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, so let's just recap what we talked about. So get rid of my scrubbing up for a minute. Mm-hmm. So Jesus is coming to the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people, it's going to create a lot of, what's the word I would use? Controversy. And whether or not it's
either going to cause controversy or you won't hear a peep. Yeah.
Well, I think that so many people.
It depends upon what the other commercials are going to be like.
Well, I think that again, anytime if I tell people who watch the Super Bowl, if they listen to us, just go to the Bible if you want to know about Jesus Christ. Now, I think they're using it politically. Okay, fine.
That's just. I think it's.
Is that bad?
To
blasphemy.
A brainwashing.
Blasphemy.
Was it?
Well, let's see. Listen, Jeremy.
Dr. Barbara said on Radio Free America, she said the next thing they're going to come after is our minds, and that is what I'm seeing.
Well, they came after our minds already. They're playing games,
but right. I mean, they're going to continue doing that. In this commercial, I think it's a perfect example of that.
Right. Always remember there's an agenda out there. So so we got the Super Bowl. So Jesus is coming to the Super Bowl. Yeah. If you plan on visiting D.C.,
wrap up. It's going to be cold.
Don't get nervous if you get held up or at gunpoint. Just give them if they pull a gun at you, give them whatever they want. Yeah. Don't fight it. But it's getting bad. I would definitely go on to the DC webpage and see where it's safe. I don't know. It's. I don't know if they're going to do anything.
Or you know what? Stay home.
Well, I tell you right now,
Don't go to DC.
I tell you what, I was going to go down to DC. I went there last June. I was going to go again this June. We're not going for this reason. We're done.
Don't visit DC. Let DC realize what their predicament is like over there and do something about it. And the rest of us, we stay away. We take our money and we keep it home.
Right. Well, I tell you where I don't go also is Philadelphia anymore. That place is out of control.
I never went. But
it's
now
out of control.
Definitely, if you're anywhere near Philadelphia, roll up your windows.
Now, listen, stay away from Mississippi.
Stay away from Mississippi, D.C., Philadelphia.
And Mousy Dong, China.
A Mousy Dong in China. Stay away from that. Don't touch the Mousy Dong.
In fact, don't go out of your house.
Don't stay inside. Live in fear. And that's the America. That's the American dream.
Isn't it?
Staying home and living in fear.
So what did we talk about? Freedom of religion. So we're losing that. Yeah. Freedom of speech. We definitely losing that. Yeah. They're going after our Second Amendment, which is freedom of fear. Here's the thing: freedom of fear. I am afraid to go to Philadelphia.
Sure.
I'm concerned about going to D.C. And why? Because I'm reading all these things about people getting jammed up. I
wouldn't go to California if you paid me.
So my point is that we're losing. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. What are all those men who died in World War II and World War I and died for our freedoms and specifically World War II when he said freedom from fear. Now we're fearing our own areas. We can't go walk around without worrying that somebody's going to steal. Here's the thing. If I walk right now, in the way it is most states, if you walk up to me and there's 5 guys and they start beating the shit out of me, even if I can't even defend myself. If I had a gun or a knife and I stab you or shoot you, I'm going to go to jail. So what do? Take the beating? I don't want to kill anybody. But my point is that, if these guys are let out of jail, real quick, where's the incentive for them not to do it? We're getting into a tough scenario. Now, the other thing, all of these people coming from the border who are not vetted, I don't know are they dangerous? I don't know. I don't want to get into the thing where, they're all bad people. But you know what? If you take 100 people, there's probably going to be 5% of them that are bad people.
Even in that commercial, I believe there are people like that felt those plays were they felt like they weren't free, and they want a better place for their children.
Right.
It's all any of us on the right, or all of us on the right. All we want is it done the right way. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right. It's called border security, and we can't. If you think
I want to make those dreams come true, but I also want to keep my country safe.
Right. You open up the borders. Just think. We'll finish with this. Let's do a thought game, a thought project.
Okay.
Let's just think.
To leave them with.
So let's just say that we agree, like AOC, and we're going to open up the borders. Anybody could come in the United States, whoever they want.
Yeah.
Okay. Now think about it. In New Jersey, in New York, you could and you could vote if you're illegal. Let's just say now you're not illegal. You come in, you're a citizen or a resident. You're entitled to welfare, health care, right? You don't speak English. Oh, okay. No, you're sick. You might have cancer. You might have diabetes. We're not clearing you. I mean, when my grandfather came from Ellis Island, if you were sick, they turn you right around. So we have open borders. No, everybody and their brother could come here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what kind of country are you going to have? What happens when you have millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people, and our services? You can't. I mean, who's going to pay for it all? Where are they going to work?
Yeah.
I mean, how much money are we going to? Who's going to take care of them? Doctor wise, schools. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going to hire teachers. You got everybody speak Spanish. I mean, the system will break down. Do you understand that? Do you see that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, there has to be. Where's the limit? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
10 million, 100 million. I mean, it's crazy. The concept to sit there, and I talk to people, and they look at me and they're happy as shit because you know what? I have friends who live in a bubble. They live in a $3 million house, and they can't get people to clean their lawns or clean their house. So they're happy bringing these people up. I got friends I know who they don't give a shit about the board. They want to because they buy illegal drugs. They get their friggin' whatever. And now they're happy because marijuana's legal, so they could get it. But they still buy it, illegally, and that's supporting a drug cartel. Just like in New Jersey, you're under 21, you could smoke marijuana, you could eat it, whatever. It's not criminal, it's not against the law, but you can't buy it. So what does that do? Doesn't that generate a underground supply? Right, Jeremy? Yeah. I had to and another one too. It's just some guy, acquaintance. He not OD'd, pretty much OD'd on gummies. The family couldn't wake him up. He went to the ER. So he's like, I got to try to titrate it. But again, open border. Just think about it. You can't have that. You could have, and we're not talking about no immigration. We're talking about legal, measured, monitored. Well, basically, a good way to look at it is border security.
Yeah.
And until what's
even if you said legal, I think just saying that it's legal is enough. I don't think we have to go any too convoluted into it about further. Just so it's legal, and then you can come in. And you know what? I'll be happy to see it.
Well, what they're doing, though, but here's the thing, though. What the Biden administration, I hear, is doing is they're making it legal by saying, well, you're a refugee, so you could come in. So so that's why this movie, this is why the Super Bowl.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Right. So all of a sudden, no. Do you feel threatened?
That's the agenda.
Right. You feel threatened in Guatemala or Ecuador because the government, you heard that the government's going to come after you. So now you're a refugee. Yeah. We're going to let you in, and we're going to let 50 million refugees. And now you can't do that. You can't do that. This is where. So I just want to let you throw it out there. And where are we headed? It's going to be an interesting thing because it's going to get to the point, Jeremy, where there's no money, and it's going to get to the point where the poverty is going to be so bad. I would love to drill down on why there's so many babies in Mississippi, with syphilis. Why do parents have syphilis? What we're breaking down, and I hope that the left now, these people like a Bill Maher and the Atlantic are starting to realize that, oh my God, maybe we went too far and we got to pull the plug. And there's always, the question is, how far is too far? When do you go to the point where there's no return? You let 50 million, 100 million people in this country illegally. Yeah. Can you ever get back from that? Can you ever dig yourself out? You'd have to close the border for the next 20 years. Don't let anybody in to catch up, to assimilate, right. And so, and again, I go back to the whole thing, and I'll leave with this. Thank God for the 81 million people who voted for Biden, because this would not be happening.
Right.
Trump had the border closed. Let's remember, we had the border closed. This would never have happened. The fentanyl deaths were going down. This would never have happened. We were energy independent. We were making our own energy. We were actually exporting it.
This is why Trump running is a good idea, because all he's going to do is stand up there and say, well, I had that done, had that done. You guys screwed it.
No, you know what he's going to do? All he's got to do is go, I told you so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. And then he can have DeSantis. So. And if you don't want Trump, DeSantis, but they're going to sit there and go, well, hey, we told you. But so again, we and then the next thing is
DeSantis for the what's the voting booths? What do they get? The Dominion.
Don't get into that.
I'm not too happy about that, though.
Listen, that's small potatoes. The bottom line is that we got to make sure that
it may be small potatoes, but to me that's a red flag.
Right.
Too.
Well, listen. Hopefully, we don't have World War III right now. I read and everything. There's going to be a huge, what do you call it? Russia's going to make a big offense. Yeah. And we have troops on the border, I think in Poland or Bosnia. I know we have troops there. And I hope to God we don't, I don't know if these troops are going to go in or not. I mean, then we're fighting Russia. I mean, we're fighting basically, if we American troops go in.
As soon as that happens, it's a world war.
And then now we got these, I don't know what's going on with China. I understand the military in this country. I hope to God that most of our leaders are really, know what they're doing. I'm not so much worried that they're traitors or crazy stuff like that. I just hope they're not incompetent. But, we drifted into World War II. I remember, you go online, there's a speech where Delano Roosevelt said, we're never going to have any troops. We're not, his election, he says, we're not going to go to war. And then, of course, he won, and then we went to war. Now, of course, Japan bombed us. But my point is that, to me, it's almost like a parallel. Putin's like Hitler, going in. Ukraine is like Poland, and then you got who comes next? China's like Japan. I tell you, if they make a move on Taiwan, so I just hope that let's cool things down. So let's finish with this. Jesus, he's come to the Super Bowl. How about coming to the United States? How about we talk about peace? How about we talk about let's no more wars? Jesus Christ talked about the light. Peace, right, Jeremy?
That's right.
And how about we try to end this war real quick, negotiate. I don't know whatever, give whoever what we got to do, and make nice, and then try to get manufacturing jobs back in this country. Tell China we're not going to deal with them if they don't have in their country freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom from fear. How about that?
That's a big wish.
And we're not going to buy this shit anymore. Yeah. And if I had,
now you're talking.
Yeah, but you can't even. Yeah, so let's start making stuff here. And one of the ways to make stuff here to be competitive with China is we have to have very cheap fuel and energy, so we could build the shit and build factories, which Trump was talking about. I tell you, I keep on going. The formula's not hard. It's called common sense. Let's stop. We're getting to the point where the ridiculousness of our stupidity is going to be our undoing. Yeah. And, we have to start thinking more common sense wise.
Yeah. Well, that's the theme of today's show.
Don't
be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
What are you doing over there? Don't be stupid.
Well, that's what Trump was. Trump was kind of like, had that.
That's what he
Brooklyn,
was. He was the guy that said it.
Brooklyn. That's a good point. He was like a a Brooklyn,
He
He
called it what he saw, how he saw it. It's freaking stupid. What are you doing? Get out of here. And he would tell people. He would tell the reporters. Why are you talking to me like that? I'm a get him out of here. He's stupid.
It is kind of funny, but Trump, that you really, now that I think about it more and more, that's what he was. He was like, it would have been better if they had a guy from like Jersey City, even like a real hard Italian, like Gabe, or somebody who's like, that kind of attitude.
So why else would you think that all the Democrats hated Trump? Because he was the one that just stood up and said, yeah, everything you've done, stupid.
Yeah, I think a big part of it too, Jeremy, was that Trump was their darling on both sides. He had the show and everything, and I think he had a lot of dirt on everybody. And I think but anyway, who knows what the future's going to bring? But like I said,
he was in big business and talked with a lot of people in business for a lot of years, and so like when Donald Trump talks, you may not like him, but I'd listen.
It's his policies. Here's the thing. What do you want in this country? I go on and on and on and on. I noticed there's this, robotics and do you want to have the communist?
Oh, the AI thing is the newest thing.
I know. But here's the thing, Jeremy. The communist, socialist, utopia. And I'll boil it down to, again, we're consistent on this show.
Yeah.
We want, the founding fathers wanted, Lincoln talked about it, Martin Luther King talked about it, is equality of opportunity. Equality of opportunity. Understand that, Jeremy?
Oh.
In other words, everybody, no matter who you are, what you are, should have the opportunity to do whatever you want to do. The opportunity. Now, what socialism talks about is this utopia where it's equality of outcome, which is equity, okay? That's a utopia that you'll never get.
Yeah.
Because it goes against human nature. There's no way, if you, Jeremy, tell me, look at Jeremy right now, our audience, that you tell me you want to be a fighter pilot on an F-15 plane, or you want to be a open heart surgeon.
Mike, there's not enough butter in the world that's going to grease me into.
But this is what it is, This is what it is. If you tell me you want to have a baby, I'm like Jeremy. I mean, this is.
I'll wait for the F-300. Maybe I can get into that one.
And this is where our when you have a Supreme Court justice who can't answer the question what a woman is. Yeah. And she knows what a woman is.
I can't fit into a Six Flags roller coaster. And I'm flying an F-16.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you talk about that. You got to watch Babylon Bee, by the way. They did it. One of their sketches is on, their skits or sketch is on What's a Woman. It's so funny, man. It's so funny. But getting back to, so this is what we want. We want equality of opportunity.
Yeah.
This concept of equality of outcome is a pipe dream. Mao Zedong tried it. Hitler tried it. What do you call it? For his own people,
Mao Zedong,
but even Stalin, they had this idea of this utopia that they know the answer. You know what? Nobody knows the answer, because you know why? The only one who knows the answer is Jesus Christ. And if you don't believe in Jesus Christ or God, you're in trouble. And I'm sorry to say that, but this is where.
And if anybody else is selling you a utopia, right, or trying to tell you about a utopia, they're selling you something.
Well, here's the thing. They say, everything started with Adam and Eve. They bit the apple. But you know what? Always forget if you don't believe. If you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you don't believe in God, read the Bible. And Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel is brother killed brother.
Yeah.
That's all you got to know right there. That started the whole thing. I mean, we've been killing each other since then.
Yeah.
And why? And because it's in our whatever, our genetic makeup. Yeah. We need to fight that. We need to against it. So again, let's talk about it. Peace, no violence, love one another.
Be kind.
Yes. So take us out, sir. Give us the word of the day.
Okay, the word of the day is kind. I will say that. That's my word every day. But if you want to find out more about Dr. Michael Kachmar, please go to JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. You can also email us directly to Dr. Kachmar. That's DrKachmar @iCloud.com, and you can reach us there. To make an appointment, what can they call, Doc?
You call 732 269-1133. So again, that's 732-269-1133. Oh, it should be up there. I'm surprised the number's not up
it's
there.
not up there. We're going to put it in.
Wow. Okay, well, listen, thank you, everyone. Jeremy, you could say goodbye to everyone. Thank
All
you
right.
for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next